Hello, good evening, and welcome to our Vampire the Masquerade Chronicle, L.A. by Night. Tonight, we have for you Season 3, Episode 6, Beauty and Decay. Let us meet our beautiful and decayed vampires.
My name is Alexander Ward, and I will be playing Francois Villon, Prince of Paris.
I'm Erica Ishii, and I will be playing Marie Antoinette.
I'm Brian Deckhart, Vanavir Thomas.
Amelia Rose Blair, Suzanne Rochelle.
Before we begin, we'd like to thank some special friends. We'd like to thank the Master Crafts people at Dogmite for giving us our beautiful clan dice boxes and my fantastic, beloved custom storyteller screen. If you visit them at dogmite.com/VTM, you can find dice boxes with all the Vampire 5th Edition clan crests on them and custom storyteller screens of your own. This special episode, is brought to you with help from our friends at Backblaze. Backblaze is an online digital backup service that is used by mortals and some kindred, even historically. They offer unlimited backup with no gimmicks. It works with Macs, PCs, and ShrekNet. And they support this show 2 seasons in a row now. So please visit backblaze.com/LA by night to show them some love and check them out. As you have already guessed, tonight is a special episode. You might be wondering, when will we return to follow the story of our coterie? When will we tell you the fate of Jasper Hartwood? I encourage you to think like kindred and take the long view. Also, next week we'll do that. But in the meantime, this is what is happening.
This magic that Garrick was speaking of, I've heard of it before. Ley lines? Do you remember?
Where have you heard of it before?
Versailles. On the eve of the revolution. I know it's there, I just can't... If we can figure out what this magic is, how to control it, then we can take it from the Anarchs. We can use it.
But we don't know anything about it.
But we might. I believe it's real. I can go back. I know it's been done before.
It's too dangerous.
For us. I will do it.
And what if it doesn't work?
What if it does? We need this. I know I can find it. I just have to... I have to try.
I'll allow it.
Thank you. I've never done this before. Have you?
Of course not.
3 nights. If I'm not back in 3 nights. For us.
Elder vampires swim through a sea of centuries. And even the most brilliant of them cannot recall in detail every single event, every single conversation. No mind, mortal or immortal, could recall with perfect clarity every moment of his existence. it would go mad. Elders, instead, can perform an act they have come to know as the Memorium. It is a deliberate reliving of specific memories. It is time travel of a sort. The kindred sinks into a torpid state of sleep, and their mind drifts back to a particular time, a particular place. This is the Memorium of Suzanne Rochelle. She has placed herself willingly into this torpid dream state, and she will relive a certain night from centuries ago. The Memorium is imperfect. It is not a totally accurate recreation of history. It is filtered through memories and dreams and nightmares. Faces from different periods of Suzanne's existence may appear, superimposed on the faces of those she knew at the time she is visiting. It is also dangerous. Suzanne cannot change her past, nor alter it for any of the kindred or mortals that she knew on that night. But she can, if injured, be damaged, and she may return to the modern night impaired. So, with these warnings in mind, let us now tell a very old vampire story. It is July 1789, and revolution is imminent in France. Europe is poised on the brink of cataclysmic upheaval, and few can comprehend the scope and the scale of what is to come. The changes are brewing with dizzying speed, and the Prince of Paris is receiving important visitors to his court at Versailles tonight, while the mortals enjoy revelry and party in the halls above, hosted by their royal majesties. The royal palace of Versailles is the most important place in the mortal world, but is also important in the world of the kindred. It is the strongest and most stable kindred domain in all of Europe. It is the heart of the relatively new Camarilla. And under the strong rule of Prince Francois Villon, Paris, since the Convention of Thorns, has suffered few, if any, crises from external enemies. The Sabbat has never made its presence felt in the salons, and the lupines are safely relegated to the rustic countryside and the deep woodlands. The Inquisition has faded into the background, and the prince's influence is undisputed. Perhaps.
My dear, it's so good to have you next to me tonight.
So it is my honor. But we have guests.
We do, don't we?
Prince Vion. I am Vanavir Thomas of Virginia, and it is my honor to make your acquaintance.
Monsieur Vanavar, I have heard of you. And you?
Suzanne Rochelle. Pleasure.
Dear Suzanne is here with us in the court.
Oh, no, you're right. I have seen you before. I apologize.
It's okay. My face is not very special.
No. No. She may be just one of your roses, but to me, she's very dear.
Well, then, you're dear to me as well. Now, I am led to believe that you have some business for me.
Well, to speak directly to the prince himself is an honor, of course.
No, yes, of course.
It is more a matter of the changing of the seasons, it would seem.
Yes?
No doubt word of the events in the Americas have reached you.
Oh, you mean your conflict with England?
Yes.
It was ours, too. We helped. Because fuck the English.
Yes.
But it seems that a similar unrest may be brewing across this continent as well.
I mean, maybe a little, but it's nothing to worry about.
No, nothing to worry
Yes. What cares the lion for the ants that are crawling on his paws?
Exactly.
Of course.
Out of all this, do you think a few mortals are going to do anything? They can't touch us.
It is a valid point Your Excellency makes regarding the power, of course, of this institution and your court. However, I must insist that you not take this threat too lightly.
Young one, I don't take any threats lightly. I just know when things are threats and when they're not.
Of course, Your Highness.
Now, Philadelphia, is that where you said you were from?
Virginia,
Virginia.
Aye.
Virginia.
very nearby.
What's Virginia like?
Virginia is full of possibility. Virginia is fresh and green. It's not.
Something to drink.
Mais oui.
Do you want anything?
I could drink.
Yeah?
Sorry.
In a trice, a trio of vessels is brought for your delectation. You may choose from among them at will. Choosing blindly. So, drained into the cup, sanguine humors of a gilded youth. It's sumptuous.
May I try?
Oh, yes, of course.
From the same cup as
Help
the prince.
yourselves.
Sure.
The cup is passed to you with great care and reverence, and you were informed discreetly that the young man had come into his majority but recently. He was the son of a wealthy merchant, the bourgeois, who grew to great wealth.
Lovely, isn't it?
Delicious.
It is delicious, and you can feel the sanguine blush of his heart in every delicious drop.
I cannot wait until I can also.
Well, you know, only a little bit longer.
Tonight could be the night, no?
It could be, you never know.
The servants stand by, ready to offer additional refreshment at command.
I shall take just wine. For now.
For now.
It is delivered extremely quickly. Claret, from your very own cellars.
Now, I have heard of what you came to, so kindly warn me about. And I have seen events happening, people talking, people worried. But this happens. The small in the world, they scheme and they plan and they want to better themselves, or at least what they consider to be bettering themselves. And then it goes away. They forget, they get consumed by the troubles of their lives, and it disappears.
It's a dream. What we have by divine right. God himself chose us.
Divine right, exactly.
Of course.
But Suzanne, this man, he seems to interest you.
In truth, I have never seen a man like him before. Pardon? I have never.
Oh, hello. All right. Well, Monsieur Vanavar, meet Miss Rochelle.
The pleasure is all mine.
Forgive me, I'm still new to the ways.
Well, you'll learn. Everyone does. And one day you will too.
That I pray will happen soon.
Mm-hmm. These things are complicated, and they require planning.
Rules, all your rules. You are the prince. You do what you like.
Rules are why we stay alive. Rules are why the people, the thousands and thousands of people, don't rise up and get rid of us. Rules are what keep us safe. So, following the rules is what keeps me alive, which gives you this opportunity.
Very much like to keep you alive. But I am the monarch of all of France and Navarre, and I deserve what you have. Even him, the lowly one.
I mean, not to be rude, Marie.
Madame, if I could give what I have to you, I would do it instantly.
You see, you are loved regardless of your state of life.
Very well. I should be patient.
Ah, it is a virtue, they say.
But why not then? Why not Rochelle, Madame Rochelle?
Why not?
What if I decide that she can tell me instead of you?
I would be very upset that I didn't get the opportunity.
Oh, really?
Very upset.
Suzanne, you would tell me, yes? Just if I asked you as a good friend?
Whatever your majesty would like. But perhaps the prince knows better, since he has centuries of knowledge behind him. There must be reasons why. You would no longer be able to go to the Hall of Mirrors.
It's true.
This is very tiresome.
I know.
You are a spirited one, I will give you that. Now, let's see. You came all this way to warn me about a possible revolution. That can't be the only reason why you came.
I'm afraid, my liege, that it is.
Well,
You have built much here, and you have much to lose. Perhaps, as you say, the rules which keep us safe. Maybe there are new rules which you might impose, a manner in which you might assure that these murmurs stay murmurs and...
Right. Well, just for the sake of discussion, what would you suggest? What would be your idea as to fix these rules?
I have very little experience in the matters of state. I'm not entirely sure that I'm... I would keep a closer eye. You may hear what is said, but perhaps too long after it is said. There must be some way to know what is coming before it's even considered.
Perhaps you have magic powers that do such a thing? I'm not quite sure of the rules yet.
Understand your concern from someone as young as you. I see how the world still looks like it is full of dangers and full of unexpected circumstances. But when you live as long as I have and have seen the things that I have seen, you see a pattern. You see how things work. You see when this happens, which leads to this, and so on, and so on. And I can say with full confidence, these are nothing to worry about.
It is, Prince Vion, the pattern that I bid you fear as I have seen. When the many have too few, and few have much, the jealousy is... It is very motivating.
No. It is all right. What don't you understand about that? It's... I'm sorry. I cannot comprehend. This is ours. It was my mother's, and it was her mother's, and hers before that, and what you have had for centuries.
A very long time.
Centuries. Surely some rabble, some mortal rabble cannot, will not, they dare not.
No. I have heard strange things, though.
What?
I have heard of a desire for, I don't know what it means, but a constitutional monarchy. Je ne sais pas.
Well, it's a monarchy with rules.
As it would seem.
The question is whether or not the people themselves have any say in the matters of state.
Yes, I see what you're saying, and they don't.
Precisely.
It is at this point where there is a loud fanfare of trumpets from your major domo's color guard, the servants of your Gould staff announcing the entry of more visitors. There is a snare of trumpets, drums, fife, and your new guests are proclaimed. Karsh, Warlord of the Camarilla. And Lucita de Aragon.
Carve.
My
Miss
prince.
Lucita.
Your servants with the cups look at you uncertainly.
Welcome. Do you require refreshment?
No, I have already fed, thank you.
Of course you have.
The servant with tray approaches Karsh directly but slowly, and he stops a little further away from you than Decorum might suggest he should, and offers the tray at arm's length, doing his best to conceal his fear.
I lunge at him and snatch 2 of them and just like loom over him.
One success. He barely catches the tray before the rest of the goblets filled with blood clatter to the floor. A few drops spill out onto the silver tray, staining its surface, and he looks at His Excellency uncertainly.
Do be careful.
May we?
You might have to make up for all that you have spilled.
Yeah. He,
As the lady says.
he resignedly, from his waistcoat, pulls out a small blade, opens up his palm, and adds his own precious blood to the less than full goblet. The scent of fresh human life in the room is intoxicating.
So, Garth, Lucita, let me introduce you to Monsieur Thomas and Miss Rochelle.
Enchanté.
Monsieur Vanavar Thomas has been kind enough to join us from Virginia across the sea. Came with a bit of a warning, saying that we were in danger of the mortals uprising and taking everything from us.
I do not know this one, but I have walked the streets. I must say I would agree with this assessment.
Would you?
You must remember, my prince. Carthage was supposed to stand forever. Rome was supposed to stand forever. They do not.
That is true.
The mightiest stallion might be brought down by enough bees. They die by the thousands, but as long as their prize falls, they will claim victory.
Well, you see that I was around. I remember. I saw those things. I studied them. I witnessed their ideas and their beliefs. And I know what they did wrong. And it's just as simple as not making those mistakes. And we'll be fine.
No elephants in war, and no lead pipes, and did they even have vampires in Rome or Carthage?
Yes, because I was there, so there had to be vampires.
My prince, I also bring you a dispatch for later from Hardestadt. He commanded me to deliver it by mine own hand.
Thank you.
But you realize that the immortals are not the only ones to fear.
Who else should I be quaking about then?
Oh, you don't think that the Sabbat is a formidable opponent for you?
The Sabbat are not here. The Sabbat have never been here.
Oh, darling, that is where you are wrong.
Is it?
Yes.
Well, elaborate. Why am I wrong?
They are running around and they are in the presence. You just don't see them because they are a lot quicker and a lot smarter than you right now.
A lot quicker and a lot smarter.
Yes, fraternizing with this little one. Marie, is it?
I would like to blink and be standing behind her.
Faster than even kindred eyes can follow him, Francois Villon is not in his seat. In half an instant, he is standing directly behind Lucita's chair.
No one is faster than me. And I back.
You blink back.
I am
Can your
going.
precious Sabat do that?
Some of them can.
I'm sorry, I haven't introduced. This is Miss Marie Antoinette,
The Queen of France.
Queen of France. This is Car, the warlord of the Chimera.
Where are you from?
Far away.
And this is
Fascinating.
Lady Lucita.
Milady.
Yes. Buenas noches, that is better to say.
It is customary to bow before the Queen.
I bow to no one.
She's the Queen.
Yes, and I am of nobility too.
You are in her palace.
This is my god.
I'd like to use my shadow tendrils.
So,
Kind of like push at her chin.
one of the side effects of living in a world that is lit only by fire is that the shadows are plentiful and deep. From corner of the room, perhaps, or maybe even shadows under the table. A thin, whip-like tendril of pure blackness uncoils and undulates up the side of Marie's chair to slither across her shoulder, and caress her gently, ever so gently.
Now, Lucita.
Francois!
You want me to bow to this little screaming thing?
You are in her court.
Karsh would extend his claws. I don't move in any other way, but
So, from the tips of your fingers sprout long, razor-sharp talons. Claws of the Gangrel clan are formidable weapons that can do massive damage even to kindred. It's like watching a great cat unsheath its talons.
No.
It's all right. If you have allies such as this, why would you feel the rabble outside?
Exactly my point. Now, my dear Koth, what have you come here today for? Besides to deliver this message.
I was instructed to deliver these. Also, I'm aware of the events across the ocean. Rebellion, instability, a flame easily spread. I felt my place was here because this is where the next conflict will take place.
Well, you are always welcome here, although I feel that your instincts may be wrong about this one.
I would be pleased to be mistaken, my prince.
Now, it makes sense why you're here. Why are you?
Because
Why
I
have you come?
came to warn you about this about that they do not care about these masquerade. That,
You came all the way here to warn me about a thing that doesn't matter, that isn't here.
Yes. Is that such a problem?
No, it just seems like a massive waste of your time.
I was just curious as to what you are doing here in these courts in Versailles. It seems that you don't care about anything else that is going on. You have a war on one front, you have the Sabbat on the other, and yet you hide in these palace behind this one.
I hide
Yeah.
my palace behind her. I'm quite a bit taller than her. It's difficult to hide behind her. Although I don't mind. Never mind. Look. This is all very amusing. But until I have evidence that the Sabbat are here, that I can see and see their effect and see what they're doing, you just coming and telling me that the scary kindred are here doesn't really change my plans much.
Very well, then perhaps I have somebody else who would be able to change your mind. Perhaps I should call Beckett and bring him in. He would probably be a better person to speak to.
Beckett's here.
But yes.
If Beckett has information and has evidence of these things happening, then by all means, I would love to speak with him.
My lord, I have no reason to respect this one who turned her back on us. However, what the farmers and colonists accomplished there, it was not by mortal hands. The English were overconfident. We need not repeat their mistakes.
If you recall, we helped quite a bit. Those poor farmers and volunteer militiamen would be nothing without our armies.
It is true.
The armies that we still control.
It is true that we did help, but you do know of which you speak, and you are quite well versed in these matters, so I do not take your warnings lightly. But I do have a feeling that they are a little overzealous.
You are the prince. I serve at your pleasure.
That being said, I will keep an eye on things.
I have a suggestion. Whenever Suzanne and I are feeling sad and a little lonely, we go down to Le Petit Trianon, and the little mall of the village, and we dress as little milkmaids, and we collect eggs and milk the cows, and live like common folk. It is so nice.
It's a beautiful place, a little haven.
Right here on the palace grounds.
That sounds lovely.
You should try it sometime. Connect with the real people.
I don't believe there's much milking or egg collecting done when the sun's not out.
I guess that would be quite a problem. Well, Suzanne,
Votre Majesty.
how do you feel about all of this? You are not very much removed from the little people.
No. Well,
Are you unhappy?
no, I am not unhappy at all. I am very, very grateful to be in your service and in the service of the prince. I must admit, I am a little concerned about what I hear about the people. I could believe that a revolution could be brewing somehow.
Liebchen. Even if there was, it surely with all of your powers, it cannot come to pass.
Karth, that weapon of yours, what do you call it?
I have a number of them, my lord. I'm afraid you must be more specific.
That one on your back there.
It does not translate directly, but in my language it approximates the sound of a head leaving the body. It's Life Drinker is as good a name as any.
Very good. Demonstrate. Demonstrate Life Drinker for me.
All the servant ghouls in the room step back towards the wall a few paces.
I killed them all.
You want to rise from your chair and unsheathe the weapon. It is a large, long, curved blade. It is scarred, many battles. a weapon that is not common in any of the lands that you are from or any of the battles that you have seen. Karsh, you leave your seat over the table or around it?
Am I literally at the table with them? I'll go over it so I don't disturb the prince's drink. But
You clear the table with a single bound, and you land among them, a lion among gazelles. They try to flee. It would be like trying to outrun a tornado armed with an immense sharp.
After he gets
After the carnage,
a couple of them. That's enough.
I do stop when he snaps.
you have cut down 3 mortals in rapid succession. Too quick. Too quick. The smell of fresh blood in the room is overpowering. It is absolutely, phenomenally delicious. It's all you can do not to get down on the floor with it.
Instead of just whipping I do along the edge of it, not to cut my tongue before I put it away.
Clean it. Savoring the melancholic tastes, the fear, the terror.
Victory.
Thank you, Carl.
Those emotions are often accompanying the loser. The other ghouls are trying to maintain their composure and their meals. And one of them, a little bolder than the rest, approaches Francois and dares to, without looking you in the eye, ask, "Shall it be cleaned?"
Yes, cleans up.
Right away, Your Majesty.
My prince.
Before I sit back down, I reach inside of my pocket and I just pull out a couple of different pamphlets that have been circulating in the city about one's a holdover from the American Revolution that has just made its way to France about overthrowing the monarchies and everything, and another one about her in particular, about the excesses of the French court.
Oh, c'est le best.
7 dice, Karsh. You have no hunger to include since you are completely sated. Three. Like all predators, you are acutely aware of your surroundings. The ghoul who spoke, who dared to speak to the prince. When you produce the pamphlet regarding Marie Antoinette, he flinches. He tries to cover it up and return to his cleaning. He has taken the coat off his back and is using it to try to soak up some of the blood, mostly unsuccessfully, but he's doing his best.
My queen. This one seems to have reacted to this.
He glances over his shoulder, still trying to clean up the
You.
floor.
You,
Immediately hangs his head.
look at me.
He raises his eyes to yours, fearfully.
What's that? Oh,
So, you instantly become the center of his world. Kindred, of course, are affected by awe unless they choose to resist, but the mortal cannot. He crawls across the floor, smearing the blood on his hands and knees and clothing, abjectly prostrating himself at your feet. He stretches out to touch the hem of your beautiful gown with his blood-stained hands.
I kick
Bring
his
it-
foot away and I use my toe to lift his chin. What was that? What was that?
Your Majesty.
Do you know this?
He-
Do you know this?
His eyes tell you everything. He does know it. He has seen it before. The third estate, Your Majesty, the people.
People.
They, you can see he's struggling with whether or not to sign his own death warrant.
What?
They do not love you.
What does the people know? I have always been some foreign beach to them.
They're starving, Your Majesty, and they blame you.
Me.
They have no meat, no bread. They hunger. He dares to try to approach you again, enraptured, awestruck.
I kick him full in the face. They don't know. They don't know what it's like. Let's make cake.
His face darkens. The blow releases him from the power of your supernatural gifts. He produces from his boot a long knife and makes his move. Who is acting?
Immediately dart in.
You have rapid reflexes,
Yeah.
as several of you do.
And I just
And is anyone else moving?
I'm stepping into the shadows, stepping around.
So you are leaving your seat and stepping into a shadow.
I use cat's grace and I pull back.
He never had a chance. Francois Villon is far too swift, and your reactions exceed his ability to move. Lucita is only half seen in the shadow, which she has drawn about her almost like a cloak or a mantle. She becomes sinister.
As I have his wrist, I look at him and I activate Don't.
You become
Now,
the very avatar of desperate fear to him. Much as he could not take his eyes off Marie, the horror of what you are to him means he cannot look away from you either, for the opposite reason.
now, that is not how we treat our queens.
Please. Please.
After all of that,
Please.
you were going to stab this beautiful face.
Please.
Please. Please what?
Please don't.
Please don't what?
Please don't kill me.
Kill you?
He risks to snap his neck.
Yeah.
The sound of the cracking vertebra echoes through the room, and another corpse joins those already laying on the marble floor.
Dare say I would do something like that.
My
Your Excellency is down to one remaining ghoul servant in the room.
Now, are we going to have a problem?
No,
Good.
no.
Great. Grand. What were we talking about?
Your Excellency, we were discussing the possibility
Yes.
that some, let us say, of this populace are dissatisfied with the court, and it is possible, not impossible, that they would act together if they are so bold in this room, in this place. Does it not stand to reason they might plan far worse elsewhere?
Lucita, from your vantage point in the shadows, you are the one who is nearest the window. It is a beautiful leaded glass triumph of craftsmanship. Only the very wealthiest royal families in the entire world can afford such a thing of beauty. It is partially open because it is a warm July night, and you can look out over the starlit grounds of the Palace of Versailles. Very distantly, out on the lawns, beyond the hedgerows, beyond the topiaries, near the fountain, you can see a gathering of people.
Now, let's see this pamphlet you brought.
It is an accusatory tract listing a rather large number of offenses that the writer believes that the Queen has committed. It is extraordinarily rude and unfavorable to her in all particulars. It appears to have been produced recently. The ink is barely dry. It calls at the end of it for revolt. It is signed, "Let terror be the order of the day."
It seems that there
Do
is
the
a
fire with it.
Yeah.
It combusts, gives off.
I'm sorry, what were you saying?
It seems that there is a gathering of some sort outside. Are you planning a party?
Is there?
There is a party in the Grand Salon, in one of the upper floors of the castle. Some duchess or others throwing a fete.
We do have a gathering here tonight. So
There is always a party. It's
it's,
Versailles.
I apologize, I don't come to Versailles very often.
well, maybe you.
why?
No. I'm sure that whoever you're seeing is just members of their gathering. It is quite a fine occasion happening in the salons.
But Francois,
What?
that was too close. You must
You mean the man?
brace me.
There was never any danger. He was miles away from you.
If they have the audacity, maybe this upstart is right. Maybe they are coming. For me. It's always for me. It's Marie, provide an heir. Marie, stop spending the money for your gowns that you are expected to wear all the time anyway.
So you think that if I turn you,
When?
those will stop? Those, them being angry with you, them blaming you, them doing all these things to you will stop.
No, but I can do something about it.
You could do something about it now. Do you want to do something about it?
Yes.
What would you like to do about it?
The remaining ghoul servant pricks up his ears and begins edging toward the door. Doesn't like the sound of this at all.
I'm a shadow step towards him.
So, from the shadow that you're in, you disappear. She vanishes. She completely fades from sight instantly, and then reappears mere feet from the servant by the door, as though she had entered a doorway of blackness and come out the other side.
And where do you think you're going?
A bucket?
Yes, if this is your queen, why would you be walking away from her?
Bucket. Mop.
What is it you'd like me to do to him?
Do that shadow thing.
You heard her. Do that shadow thing.
I extend the tendrils out.
He stands still, too frightened to move, hoping that maybe if he just stays still, like a rabbit facing a viper, he will somehow live through it. So, the tendrils of darkness emerge from behind you, moving, writhing through the air. It's ghastly. It's terrible. It's magnificent. What do you do with them?
I'm gonna
With him?
squeeze his throat. Crush it.
Doesn't take long. The end is quick. His eyes bulge from their sockets. His neck goes limp. And his life leaves him.
You just drop him.
There is now another body on the floor, and unfortunately, no more servants in the room to clean them.
Wow.
Good help is so hard to find.
I would like to go over to the window. Whatever I think of Lucita's allegiances, I know that she is a keen fighter, so if she says something odd is outside, I want to see.
Of course.
And at some distance, I'd like to follow him.
Have a look out
Suzanne,
the window yourself.
Yes.
Madame?
you are troubled. You have a tender heart. I know. But these people, they are barely worthy of that title. You do not think that they say things about you?
No, I believe they do, and
You also are in the libels. Accused of all sorts of things. And that's not fair. You care about them, these people. I don't. And yet they treat us the same. I will protect you.
At the window, Karsh and Vanavar open it wide, letting the warm night air into the room. It's refreshing. It's getting a little close in here, what with the smell of blood and death. Out on the palace grounds, close to the palace, you see things that you expect to see. The palace guard, nobles, aristocrats strolling through the grounds, playing in the maze. Decadence, revelry. Farther out in the grounds, however, at the very, very edge of the Topiaries, perhaps 100 yards away, there is a large gathering of people. Mortals, you think. Some several dozen of them milling about. Some of them have torches to light the night, others have lanterns. It's too far to see easily without the aid of preternatural sight, but you're fairly certain this is not normal for Versailles on a summer night.
I would lean close to Vanavar.
Prince Vion is a great man. He has guided Paris for many centuries. But he is like an eagle flying high, who cannot see the archer until the arrow strikes.
Vanavar, you know a mob when you see one.
They are not here for a party with the Duchess.
I do not think so.
I would like to turn into an owl.
What?
Protean powers of Clan Gangrel are multifarious and highly useful. One of those powers is, of course, transformative. Many different shapes are yours to command. And tonight you choose a nocturnal bird of prey. Where there was once Karsh, moments later, there is an enormous horned owl on the windowsill. It is, as far as tricks go, extraordinary.
I do love when he does that.
Suzanne, can you do that?
No, I don't believe so.
Will I be able to do that?
Maybe if you try very hard.
Out into the night, you always experience a rush of exhilaration when you fly. It's dizzying, but purposely you go. Where?
Out over the mob, and then just sort of cut a wide swath around Versailles. Just sort of see how many unusual batches of people there are like this,
I see.
and then make my way back in.
Okay. This flight will take a few moments. Hold that thought.
I'd like to use my second sight to sense the future. I have a bad feeling.
Premonition. Do you want to sense the future generally, or do you have a specific person that
Marie.
you wish to sense the future about?
Marie.
It is Marie. Requires a rouse check. Roll 1 hunger die, 1 red die. Blank? It's a problem. Success. Or is it blank?
It is a skull.
The skull. Hold that thought. So the first thing that happens, maybe it's the display of shocking, beautiful death before you. Maybe it's the smell of the blood. Maybe it's just your rising anxiety about the situation, but your beast, that constant companion, the voice, her voice, the voice you hope she never knows, whispers in your ear at night, speaks to you. Cherie, you should dine. You should help yourself. It is not fair that you should go without, that you should want. You are, after all, Suzanne.
I am. I eat.
You help yourself.
Yes.
Some from the goblets, perhaps. Some from a fresh wrist. It stains your face, your lips, your chin.
It is good, isn't it?
Nice.
Pardon.
Perhaps
Don't
someone
look
will
at me.
be so kind as to give you a handkerchief.
Please.
Oh, merci.
So, the premonition, and then Lucita is on the move as well. I shall roll for you since you will not know the result. Lucita, what are you doing while she stares at Marie Antoinette?
So I'd like to activate Awaken the Abyssal, and I want to raise the servant up with shadow stuff, and I want to get it animated down the hall because I want to see or hear if there's any talk about anything in particular.
Hold that thought.
Okay.
What you see alarms and shocks you. You see Marie's crown, the one she wears for state occasions. You know it well. You could practically count the gems on it. It's her favorite. She likes it more even than the little diadem that her mother gave her. But you don't see Marie anywhere. You see the crown lying in the street, in the mud. You see droplets of crimson staining the circlet where it should touch her brow. And you see reflected in each gem a tiny, brilliant, burning flame. It is a bad omen. She is in grave danger.
Your Majesty, I fear you're in great danger. We must leave this place now.
Lucita, you have summoned forth a thing of shadow to do your bidding. This mass of blackness has mocking caricatures of little limbs, maybe even a little tail, like some horrible, unnatural feline made of pure shadow stuff. Where do you send it?
I'm going to send it out the door and around the corner. I want to see if there's any talk of anything unusual.
You will be able to sense things through your servant, but you will not be able to undertake other actions until you end that connection.
Okay.
Hold that thought, for the owl returns. Akarsh, what you have seen countless times before. When mortals are dissatisfied, when they have been pushed too far, they always do the same thing. The group near the fountain at the edge of the Topiaries is not the only such group on the grounds of Versailles tonight. There are several others. Combined, they do not make a force large enough to threaten the palace. The guard should be able to deal with them. But the fact that they have grown bold enough even to make the attempt suggests that there is either a larger plan afoot or they expect assistance when the time comes.
Have I returned?
You have. The
When I-
owl returns to the room, lighting on the windowsill.
I straight to the floor and start walking.
So when the talons scrape the marble floor, you begin your transformation. And in a few moments, Karsh is with you again. Not even a feather on the floor to indicate that he was anything other than kindred a moment ago.
When I land, I draw my sword and I kneel down in front of him and I hold it out in front of him.
To Francois, to Villon.
The prince.
My lord, I am yours to command.
Well, what did you see out in your flight?
Again, I must agree with this young one's assessment. There are mortals massing outside. I do not believe it is in great enough numbers to threaten us. But if this one,
And I point at the one that had the knife.
can have tasted the blood and take up arms, who knows what they're capable of?
Francois, if Suzanne has had her vision and sees calamity, perhaps we should heed her. All these signs.
Lucita, you send your shadow servant creeping down the hall, sticking to the edges of the corridor, always in the shadows. To the end of the corridor where Francois' guards stand, armed and armored and always at the ready. Guards are speaking softly to one another. French is not your first language, nor even your second, but you do understand it quite well and speak it well enough also. They are concerned. They are worried about rumors of troubles. They speak of things overheard in the kitchens and in the wine cellars and in the scullery. Murmurs of discontent. You don't hear anything from them that suggests that they are involved.
All right. Let me have a look. I stand up and I walk to the window,
You want to see for yourself?
and I activate heightened senses.
So, reaching out with all the senses at your command, you can practically taste the night on your tongue, the scent of it, the warm July fills your nose, and you can hear and see and feel on your skin the very essence of summer. It's your favorite time of year. Despite the fact that the nights are short, this is when the people, the blood, is at its most active and most delicious. You survey palace grounds, your palace grounds. You look at the people who should be there, nothing out of the ordinary. And then you look at the people who should not be here. You can hear the murmurs of discontent from them, brought to you on the night breeze. One who looks like he might be, perhaps, a merchant fallen on hard times. His coat, once brightly colored but now stained and torn, missing many buttons, and a bit too large for him, as though through hunger he has lost quite a bit of mass. He urges the others to wait, telling them it is too early. The time is not yet right. And another disagrees and says, no, we should do it now. We should do it now. No, replies the merchant. Wait until he gets here. Not until he arrives.
Ah,
Francois?
well. Looks like you two were correct.
Karsh, you are still kneeling
Aye.
with offering your sword, which His Majesty has not taken.
They are here for unpleasantness. But they are not acting yet. They're waiting for someone.
Then we have time.
We do. Who do you... I look over to her. Is she still...
Are you still reaching outward with your senses?
No, I'm back.
So you have ended the connection. Make a arouse check.
Ooh, no success.
Not a success.
Nope.
You hear his voice in your head. Daughter. Daughter, you thirst.
No,
You suffer. Listen to your father.
no, never.
Give it what it wants, and all will be well. All will be forgiven.
Cállate.
This is the will of God, my child. You must not deny God.
This is my will, and I will stay in control.
For the moment, daughter, I will be here. I will be waiting. Adios. Your hunger increases. You also receive a stain upon your humanity for that intimate connection with the blackness you know awaits your clan.
Francois,
Yes.
but you must tell me. You must tell me, and we must flee.
My dear. Be patient. Now. They're waiting for someone. Thoughts on who that might be? Anyone?
Do I have been trying to keep an eye on the...
Well, without a little bit more specific information, it's really anybody's guess.
Well,
And one could always ask them.
Your Majesty, not to be rude, but I believe we must leave this place now.
no, we will.
Now.
How? They are everywhere.
There is the sound of hoofbeats on the ground below. Horses arriving swiftly. Consternation, voices raised.
I walk to the door of the chamber and I open it to my guards that are outside. There are unwelcome people here this evening. Deal with them.
My prince, perhaps it is not too late for discord. You may still hear them speak.
Hear them speak. Come in here, speak with me, and do the same as this man.
We are prepared, sir. We know their temperament. It may be that inviting them in is less dangerous than them entering on their own.
Inviting them in.
You hear raised voices from below. The palace guards out on the grounds are speaking to whomever has arrived on horseback, and you hear voices of incredulity and surprise rising up to the window.
I don't think they're here to politely talk.
Those on horseback appear to be aristocrats. Their clothing, however, is torn. Their wigs fallen somewhere on the roads behind them. Their riding breeches and boots stained with, that may be mud or blood. It is difficult to tell. And one has his sword unsheathed. They are speaking rapidly and in very excited voices to your palace guards, who are beginning to mass on the grounds below, probably alerted by your guards.
Well, let's see. Let's try your way. Let's take your advice. Let's see what happens. Invite them in.
No.
The The remaining guard who didn't run off to carry out your instructions looks at you in shock and surprise.
Those two men out front.
Bring
If
them
they're not here to cause obvious harm and they want to speak, let them in. We'll speak.
He rushes to do your bidding. Stops halfway to the door, turns around, goes to the window, and shouts down. He seems to know one of the guards by name and instructs them to bring the two men up.
We shall see.
It doesn't take long before you are joined in the chamber. Now, Lucita,
I'm stepping into the shadows before they get here.
do you want to conceal yourself completely?
Yes,
You want to not be seen.
correct.
Make a rouse check.
Oh, jeez.
That didn't take long, daughter. You have come to me at last. Are you ready to give in? Are you ready to do my bidding and be dutiful at last, or must I chastise you again?
I will take your chastising. We will get to that in a moment.
I see ample feast upon the ground.
Yes,
It is
but
cooling and stale, but you know you
I have a
wish it.
better idea. Let's wait and hear what they say.
Squashing his voice, crushing it with your will. You step into the shadows and she is gone. There is only darkness there.
And also, bring me the girl who tightens my corsets in the morning. Bring her here.
At once, at once.
I turn and I look behind me. And send some people up. We need a spill cleaned up.
At once.
Now, Kosh, I know you will anyway, but just so it doesn't go unsaid, any move, anything not pleasant, end them.
With respect, should I make sure this one survives?
Yes!
Yes.
No harm will come to you.
I stand, I don't put the sword back. I just basically position myself between the window in them and the door in them. So anything would have to come through
So
me to
that
get to
you may move to intercept regardless of which direction the threat comes in.
And the sword is basically out, but kind of like down on the floor in front of me. This.
I sit back down. I take a drink.
Now, in a few moments, your guard returns with the two disheveled aristocrats in tow. And you wish them to come in. They do so, and they stop dead in their tracks at what they see.
Gentlemen,
The carnage on the floor, the blood, Karsh, his sword. The queen, they drop to their knees, hanging their heads below, waiting for Her Majesty to indicate that they may move.
Rise? What news?
The older of the two steps forward and introduces himself as Artois. His son is Gerard, and they have just come from Paris, from the city. And they regret to inform Your Majesty that a mob has stormed and taken the Bastille, the dungeon castle prison of the city. They brought weapons, they overwhelmed the guard, broke open the doors, freed the criminal prisoners inside, and now the Bastille is on fire. I fancy, Your Majesty, that if you were to go to the roof of the palace and look toward Paris, you might even see the blaze.
Possible.
It's true, it's true. They, others are assembled, of all places, at a tennis court. And they are issuing demands and urging the people to follow them. We rode as hard as we could. There are others behind us, of course. We are grateful for the opportunity to warn Your Majesty that there is a great deal of danger in Paris tonight. Your Majesty should avoid the city at all costs. Surely Versailles is safe.
Well, Her Majesty is of the primary concern, and excuse what you see in here. Unfortunately, some of your news comes a little bit late, as there was already an attempt made on the Queen's life before you got here.
He takes another closer look at what lies on the floor, and he blanches.
Yeah, hold yourself together. But it appears, and I don't often say this, that I was wrong.
I wish it were not so, my lord.
So do I. I don't like being wrong. Now, gentlemen, if you'll excuse me, my guards will keep you safe.
As Your Majesty wishes. We are only too grateful to have been of service.
And you are appreciated and will be remembered. Now, it's time for us to leave.
Yes.
Halt! There's a cry from outside. Sound of marching booted feet.
Halt.
I said, halt! There's a report of gunfire. Many muskets being fired simultaneously. Smell gunpowder drifts in through the window. Any of those of you who are standing near it can see that the palace guard has kneeled in formation and fired upon the mob that was gathered at the edge of the field, and it has approached rapidly and with purpose toward the palace. Several men in the mob now lie dead or dying on the grass. The guards are reloading.
I believe let's leave them to their jobs and get out of here. This way, and I'm going to start to lead them through.
You take them out of here?
Yes, and to one of the emergency exits.
Lucita, do you come out of the shadows or not?
I'm gonna hang back and be the last one to come out. I'm gonna survey to make sure that there's no tails following.
Has the girl arrived?
She has. She
So when
is
you
a bit
look
breathless.
like me?
She was sleeping and was roused for her slumber. And, oh, that one. Yes. Yes, it's her.
I use all.
You hardly need to use it on one who already worships you, but it is immediately effective.
You, girl, you will go to my chambers and you will have someone help you dress in my best gown. The one that is in the portrait.
I don't deserve such generosity, Your
but
Majesty.
you do, my darling.
Oh, I would do anything for Your Majesty, but surely it is not my place to...
I am no longer Her Majesty. It is you now. You are Marie Antoinette.
Oh, it's a game.
Yes.
It's a game. She doesn't even see the corpses piled behind her. So focused is she on your beauty, your radiance, your authority. She worships you.
The way you look at me, that is how they will look at you now.
Oh, it's a jest. It's a lark. Yes, of course. Oh, who are the players, Your Majesty? What handsome chevaliers will be visiting us?
Oh, which ones won't?
She blushes.
Now, ta-ta. Have a good time.
She doesn't even notice that her pretty little shoes are now stained with blood as she exits to do your bidding.
You are a greater warrior than I thought.
I reach back in my belt and I pull out something that is actually extremely sophisticated technology. It's a single-shot flintlock pistol.
That's a newish device for these shores.
Yes, it's
Rare and expensive.
It's quite a thing.
This is the newest in...
Wonderful.
My lady, it will only work once. Make it count.
Wonderful.
Well then, let us go.
Let us.
Now,
Take Suzanne's hand and follow after.
I should point out that here in the Palace of Versailles, weapons are plentiful. It seems as though there is at least one wall in every corridor, every room adorned with some cutlery that is used for death.
I grab a rapier as I.
You take
leave.
one?
Yes.
A rapier. Lucita takes
Rapier or dagger?
Florentine style. Vanavar,
I reach for a broadsword.
something strong and serviceable. What about Suzanne?
I take a small jeweled knife. Very.
Poniard, something wicked but sturdy, like a stiletto.
That was made for my mother, the Holy Roman Empress. It suits you, my dear.
Merci.
Keep it safe, as it will keep you safe.
With all due respect, Your Excellencies, we are spending a great deal of time talking.
You're correct.
That is what we do in the court.
There is another peal of gunfire from the grounds below. Cries of the dead and dying fill your ears. More gunpowder drifts in through the windows.
This way, follow me.
Where exactly do you take them? The palace is vast.
I take them downstairs. I assume we're on the second floor right now. Take them downstairs onto the first floor, and then I lead them to a subfloor.
So, on the way, there is a great deal of consternation in the palace by now. The revelry on the upper floors has stopped. Whatever madcap debauchery, whatever lavish ball was underway has come to a halt, and the aristocratic inhabitants of the castle are rushing to and fro, trying to figure out what has happened. The news that the Bastille has been stormed has spread to some of them. You hear other stories, other rumors from passing nobles and servants as you make your way. Some of the stories can't possibly be true. All Paris is burning. That must be a lie, because you would be able to see it from the very windows that you pass. You hear that certain noblemen have fallen in the streets, killed by the mob. You hear stories about barricades. You hear that an enemy fleet has landed, sailed up the Seine. You hear that Notre Dame is now the headquarters of some evil revolutionaries bent on destruction and killing. It's impossible to know in this age what is true and what is false when rumor, panic, and fear rule the night. And this is where we'll pause briefly in our story. Welcome back to our Vampire the Masquerade Chronicle, LA by Night. You're watching Season 3, Episode 6, Beauty and Decay. I'd like to remind you that this that you're seeing is a memoriam, and it is Suzanne Rochelle's memoriam. These are her memories. These are events that she remembers having lived through on that night in July 1789 outside Paris. It's imperfect. Not all the faces are precisely as she recalls. Not every word or even accent is exact. But this is, in substance, what befell her that night. So, now we continue with her memories. You are making your way through the palace, which is all tumult, all consternation, conflicting rumors, differing news. Whenever mortals, of course, behold your Majesty, all of them, highborn and lowborn, and those in between, must stop, bow, curtsy, and make way for you. Your armed escorts are, of course, given surreptitious glances, as several of them are not ordinary appearing individuals. The sight of a woman without a gown, brandishing sword and dagger, draws more than a few looks, but none of them dare to impede you as you make your way through the palace. You were headed down. You were headed downward, planning to reach the subterranean levels,
Yes.
where there are places prepared for emergencies. You reach the first floor of the palace, your favorite floor, with the grand salon, the hall of mirrors, the little theater that you love so much. And this is a throng of mortals. It is difficult to move through. Aristocrats are milling about, exchanging rumors, worried glances, attempting to figure out what is going on. Several of them, too, are brandishing weapons in case the worst should happen. A unit of the palace guards rushes into the grand foyer, weapons at the ready, racing for the door, from which there comes a tremendous, repeated banging, and demands, shouts, asking for entry.
No.
No.
Do you want to let them in?
No, none.
Then we should leave.
Where do we go? That is the only exit.
The aristocrats are all running in the opposite direction of the doors and that terrible beating sound. The guards kneel, readying their firearms, loosening the blades in their scabbards.
Do we need to go through there to get where we're going?
You may pass by it instead of going through it.
Come. I take Suzanne's hand.
And grab your hand as well.
Racing forward,
Racing forward.
continuing. Behind you, there's a tremendous crack. Sound of the doors giving way. Guns firing. Screams, shouts, tumult. A cacophony of desperate noise. Sound of battle. Blades clashing on blades. You're not sure exactly what is happening behind you, but it's probably not good.
How far behind us is it happening?
Far enough that if you stopped and looked back over your shoulders, you could probably see it.
I take a quick glance just to make sure we're not being followed.
A mob has broken through the side door on this hall, has overwhelmed the guards, taken their weapons, and is busy dispatching them with their own firearms, with their own swords and sabers. They carry fire, improvised weaponry of all different kinds. It's a rabble. None of them are professional soldiers. None of them are aristocrats. They're merely ordinary folk.
My lord, do you wish me to disperse them?
Not until necessary. Let's let the guards deal with this as much as possible.
A fresh unit of guards rushes down the stairway, stops near the bottom steps, raises their guns, and opens fire straight into the mob.
There we are.
This is impossible.
Apparently not, my dear.
Where
Continue.
where would you like to lead us?
I'm leading you underground.
I'm gonna try. Can I cloak the area that we're at, just in case?
Interesting. You can certainly conjure a Stygian shroud of shadow that would conceal you all, but the difficulty is
No, wait.
they couldn't see through it.
Yeah.
Only you and those who possess unusually preternatural sight can do so. Now, some of the kindred with you do. Karsh can see through it, Francois, Suzanne, but Vanavar and the Queen would have to be led by the hand, and it might be dangerous, but you would be unseen.
I think it'd be wise if we were cloaked.
Do what you must.
Somebody needs to hold on to those who cannot see in the dark.
It's not a problem.
I didn't think so.
I activate my glowing red eyes.
They're like twin coals burning in the dark.
Do what you must.
Suzanne, take the American.
I take Venavar's hand.
I
You
wink
do
at
it?
Vanavar and then I activate heightened senses.
I got no idea what's going on, and I'm a little extra nervous.
I'll remind you all that you are armed. Now, for Marie and for Vanavar, the effect is the same. You are plunged into utter darkness. To say that it is black is to do it a disservice. It's impossible to describe the absolute opaqueness of the shadow that falls over you, and it is cold. You do not lose contact with the world around you. You can still feel the floor beneath your feet, although it is perhaps a little strange feeling. Your hands clasp those who clasp yours. The touch is odd, almost as if it is weak and distant, but you do hang on. Marie, you take a point of superficial damage from the cold blackness that invades your lungs. Fortunately, you are no longer completely human yourself, but it is frightening and painful. For those of you who have gifts that pierce this absolute blackness, the world is not lighter. You see things, shapes, dimly, almost as though through a thick gray gauze. You behold the silhouettes of one another, and you see the firelight of lanterns and torches in the halls and rooms around you as little pinpricks of illumination.
The number one thing I'm doing is keeping an eye on Lucita in case she makes a move on the prince.
Now, in this blackness, Lucita, you are the only one who is completely free to act, and you're the only one whose sight is perfect. Blackness to you is completely natural, and you see very clearly.
Let us go.
The mortals pay you no mind. If they see the unnatural cloud of blackness floating through the halls of Versailles, it is just one more strange event that will become rumor and portent and dark omen in the tales of this night. So onward you go.
There you go. You'll find.
Francois, you are directing the entourage
Yes.
down this stairway,
Down the stairway.
through that corridor, beyond this door, skirting around battles that have broken out in various places where groups of mortals have rushed in to fight with your guards. So far, the palace sentries appear to be holding the worst danger at bay, but here and there, free-roaming groups of individuals have either gotten through the defenses or have come in through unguarded entrances and are roaming freely.
Every once in a while, I just knock over heavy bookshelves. Like when we go through doors, I like move furniture, just random bits as we keep going.
Is this to impede pursuit?
Yes.
Bookcases, statuary, mirrors, columns, precious artworks, anything big and heavy. Yeah, it would be hard to follow you through some of these rooms now. The Hall of Mirrors. Its beauty is unparalleled in the world. Long, wide, majestic, lined for 100 yards, perhaps, maybe half that. It is difficult to see in this darkness. You know how long it should be, but in this black cloud, it's hard to see the end of the length. And this is where they are, Lucita. This is where they were waiting. You can see them. You know that if you keep up the shroud, you can see and fight easily, but your friends will be at a significant disadvantage.
Our enemies are here. When I drop, they are coming to go after us.
Stay behind me, Prince.
Oh, I will.
I move closer to that sound.
To Karsh,
Yeah, definitely.
I feel a strange sense of courage coming over me. Like a connection with a deeper, older power that I have never felt before.
it rises inside you. Flame, desire, gloriously bitter resistance. What happens then?
I drop shroud.
It's much easier to breathe now, and the world returns to its normal state, and you find yourself in the fabled Hall of Mirrors. It's not nearly as long as it seemed at first, Vannevar and Karsh. And Lucita, those of you who have never been here, but it's long enough. And the things moving towards you, racing down the corridor, are dog-like, but not truly dogs. These misshapen, strange, elongated, bizarre shapes were not born in this world. They were made, crafted.
Turn into a wolf myself.
Karsh
You have a profound
transforms
talent.
himself into a huge, enormous, shaggy gray wolf and races forward to meet them. These things are the stuff of nightmare. They look like great wolves themselves, or some sort of strange, wild, feral dog, but they have too many limbs and mouths that are too large and skin that is a color that should not be.
I activate awe to see if maybe this will change anything.
Unfortunately, these creatures, whatever they are, only seem to be more attracted to you by the attention that you call to yourself. And 2 out of the 3 peel off and race directly for you.
I launch my knife at them.
You throw a knife. Lucita, what are you doing?
Oh, am I close to her?
You are all fairly in a group that is reasonably close to one another.
Is it pretty close to me?
Close enough.
Awesome. I'm gonna plunge in my rapier, but I'm also gonna activate what I'd like to do with Earth Shock as I'm punching it through.
Punching it through where?
Just pushing it back away from me, from us.
Potence power.
Yes.
You are throwing your dagger. Vannevar?
I'm holding this broadsword like I've never held a broadsword before in my life. I put myself just a little bit forward, but not too much.
What's your goal?
To not die.
To not die. Karsh, you are a wolf.
Battle.
You are joining the battle.
The only thing I stop for is if I see anything going towards the prince. Otherwise, kill.
Francois, Marie.
I have her behind me. And are there any of them coming for me?
The two of them are lunging at Suzanne. The other is headed straight for the wolf. So.
I turn and say, how important is she?
Save her. She
And
means everything.
one of them, I'm going to lightning strike and dart over and slam the rapier through its head.
So, all the kindred join the battle. Lucita, Earthshock on the punch, but you're holding the sword. You might even withstand the impact. We'll see. Suzanne, you're hurling the dagger. Okay, Lucita, you have 8 dice to roll. Suzanne, you have 5. When the wolf that the prince didn't deal with lunges at Suzanne,
I better swing.
you better swing. 6 dice.
How many?
6. Karsh,
Ooh.
10 dice.
All right.
Francois, 8. I'll roll the same roll for these creatures and apply it to all of them equally. Okay.
7 successes.
7,
8.
8.
3.
Vanavar, 3.
I have 3, and one of them has stars, so it's special.
It is, in fact, special. And Lucita.
I got 6, but with a critical success.
Ooh, messy critical success. Okay. So, Francois and Vanavar strike the same creature. Your broadsword and your sword pierce it from opposite sides, lifting it into the air like some sort of horrific shish kebab.
Hey.
It doesn't cry out. In fact, it makes no sound. You're not even sure it has vocal cords. And it dies on your blades, hoisted into the air. Your weapons united together in concert. Suzanne, your blade is a valiant toss, but alas, has no effect on the creature. Lucita's blow, however, with a messy critical and earth shock, is a little overdone. Your sword, your hand, your wrist, your arm goes through the thing, skewering it on your own limb, tearing through the gristle, the bone, the unnatural sinews,
Oy.
doing extensive damage to you in the process because the thing has blood that is not blood at all. It is something caustic and burning. And you take 2 aggravated wounds, 2 aggravated health from the damage done to your arm. You'll have a chance to mend shortly.
And then I blink back to Marie.
Back to Marie. The wolf and the not wolf meet and clash and tear. Karsh growling, guttural, the thrill, the brutality of it. His opponent uttering no sound whatsoever as it snaps and tears and bites. That was rather a lot of successes that you rolled. The contest is over very, very quickly, but you too suffer an aggravated wound from sinking your jaws into the terrible acidic blood of the thing.
Have I ever seen such a thing before?
You know crafted work of the enemy when you see it. And you know the clan that makes them.
You saved her. You are so brave and
I
good.
know I am, aren't I? So it appears you were also right as well. Good for you.
What is this?
There are
Lucita, do you wish to heal?
Yes.
things in this world The things
They're
I can do,
aggravated
The things
wounds.
he can do. This is something that
Make
others
3 rouse checks to mend 1 aggravated. We all know that you're already hungry. A failure.
Oh, yeah.
2 more to go.
Fail again.
Oh no.
And the 3rd.
Success. Finally. 1.
4 hunger. The very brink of madness for you. Your beast is loud in your mind. They're not worth it, my daughter. For the love of God. For the love of God. Help yourself. Take the queen. Her royal blood is fit for you, my only child.
No. I will not do that to her.
Well, Lucita, you know that you are on the very brink of frenzy. One more rise in your hunger, and you will snap.
Is there any mortals around at all?
So, as you proceed from the Hall of Mirrors deeper into the palace and the stairway that you know will take you down to the lower chambers, you pass many mortals, servants, aristocrats, wealthy merchants fleeing in terror, guards on their way to defend the palace.
Just gonna grab a random aristocrat and pull him into the shadows.
I believe that you have the horrific power of brutal feed through your potence.
Yes.
It takes but a moment to completely drain the mortal. The rush of having so much blood enter your body in one instant is exhilarating. This is the passion of the fight. This is what you were born into unlife to do. And you worry in these moments that maybe your sire was right.
No.
Take away all your hunger dice. Onward?
Onward.
I actually remain in my wolf form
You stay as a wolf.
because anyone who's not a part of this should run like hell. So anyone who hesitates gets eaten.
In wolf form, you would be the fastest among you.
I don't get. Well, I know how fast he is, so
So,
I stay
you-
within his arm's reach.
You lope along at the side of Marie Antoinette. With the prince on one side and the great wolf on the other, you almost feel safe.
Almost. I would be safer if I was like you.
Yes, yes, yes.
Onward you go. And finally, the door,
Here we
which
are.
opens only to the key that you possess.
In we go.
It's dark down there.
Now,
For as long as this place has been here. You don't just add doors where they aren't meant for.
You're fairly certain, Marie, that you have never been through this door before. Now,
so many
there are many doors here, but this one's so close to the Hall of Mirrors, you would think that you would at least have encountered before. Lucita.
Before anyone enters, I'd like to kind of slip past real quick and activate Oblivion Sight. I want to be able to see in the dark and make
See
sure there's
in the
nothing else
darkness.
there.
After you then.
Okay. You can pierce the darkness with your sight. Anyone who's watching will see her eyes come over black, like the pit of hell itself. You see no one on the stairway. For as far as you can see, there are no individuals or things waiting for you. Not yet. Do you bring any light with you, or do you prefer to stay in the dark?
So the tunnel down these stairs is not lit. Is there,
There are lanterns handy that you could use.
I will take a lantern.
I take a lantern as well.
You as well? And down you go, shutting the door behind you. You know the way. You've been here before.
Make my way down, following, making sure everyone's coming down with me.
Of course. I am assuming that all are joining him. From behind you, sound of battle again. More gunshots, screams.
Last one in, close the door.
Close the door.
Shutting it behind you.
Shut it behind me. Can we lock it from the inside?
Yes, you can.
I lock it.
So,
There's a lot of things you don't know. But you'll learn in time.
downward.
Not now.
I actually do move ahead unless there's any turn. So as long as the tunnel is straight, I actually go forward. So
The stairway leads you down into a tunnel that Francois seems to know quite well. In fact, you know your way down here intimately. You've been here many times before. You know that in one direction, this will come out near the Huntsman's Lodge, out on the grounds. Not sure if that's safe or not. It might be. In another direction, it will lead to the river. Again, perhaps it is safe, perhaps not. And the third direction will lead down into that rather disturbing set of tunnels that probably weren't part of Versailles, but belonged to some other ruin.
Let's keep going down.
You want to take him down?
Take them down.
Okay. He guides you through the dimly lit passageways. Your lantern's the only illumination. The air is cool down here and dry. You pass by storerooms used long ago for wine, for food, for armaments, for secret meetings. And soon the sounds of the surface world are left behind you. It's quiet.
Excuse me for the decor, but better safe than fashionable at the moment.
Could use some diamonds or gold. Next time.
Next time.
Where are you taking us?
Down.
To
Somewhere safe.
the crypts?
It's safe.
He does indeed lead you to a series of underground crypts. The ancient regime, something before Versailles. History says that Versailles was built upon swamps that were drained. But history doesn't know everything. Sometimes events transpire and are not recorded. Other times, they are concealed. This is one of those circumstances. The crypts don't belong to any French aristocracy that you've ever heard of or seen. Maybe they are something older, something different. And they're rather extensive. Not a comfortable place to be at all, but unarguably safe for the moment.
You see, there are things that the world knows, and there are things that we know. And we know this place.
Where is this? What is done here?
I use my supernatural eyesight to sense any other presence.
You open your senses to the dark around you. You don't see anything, but you hear. Far above, you can still dimly hear the sounds of battle and fighting. And some terrible, terrible snarls. More of those things, you think. And in the distance, down here, you hear a faint noise too. It's hard to place at first, and you have to concentrate to sense the direction, but
Suzanne.
you think it's digging,
Digging.
like a spade or a shovel moving earth.
Can you hear that?
I also heighten my senses and listen.
You too can hear the sound.
Yes.
Spadeful after spadeful of earth being moved in no hurry. No sense of urgency in the noise.
Someone's here.
It would seem. Car. Find out who's down here.
Towards it.
The wolf moving in the direction indicated.
As fast
What
as
are
I
the
can.
rest of you doing at this time? Francois?
I am. What is the area we're in? Just a long hallway, or there?
It is a long crypt lined with coffins of stone.
Well, it would seem that our little revolution upstairs has some help from kindred. Unfortunately, which makes things a lot more difficult. Those up there, those dogs, were not made by men.
By what clan do you believe?
Would I know?
Undoubtedly.
That would be, and correct me if I'm wrong, that would be Clan Zamitsi.
Zamitsi?
Yes.
I do not know this clan.
There's a reason.
So they make vampires, they make flesh dogs?
Not exclusively, but they do things of that sort. They can mold flesh like it were clay. One of the things they can do other things as well, but that's what they're famous for.
So what do you do?
I would never do that.
Well, you can't.
Precisely. I mean, I'm terrified of that. Honestly, I don't like dark, confined spaces. And this is
Then I
growing to be all
apologize.
too much for me.
Well,
I activate awe over Vanavar to try and relax him. Plus,
What
I
is-
like his eyes.
It is rather calming to see something of such poise, grace, and beauty in a place like this. It's a bit incongruous, but nonetheless welcome.
He's so weak.
Feel safe.
I knew what you want. You were like that once. Maybe not like that, but like that. How?
What was that?
The door at the top of the stairs has been broken open. And you hear the sound of claws skittering down the stone stairway that you have just come from.
Those dogs really are.
A few shouts, too. And you know the dogs didn't make those.
Let's head down this way, please.
Ugly things.
She's gone down here.
All right. Have fun. I lift Marie and I down the hallway.
As fast as you can go
Behind Car.
in the direction that Karsh has gone.
I super speed back after him.
You follow
Yes.
at rapid speed, as quickly as your undead limbs will take you, leaving Vanavar and Lucita
Can't do this?
behind.
I grab his hand. Good luck. And I go down shadow step.
You're going to bring him with you.
Yes, I am.
Where are you going? You can go about 100 yards.
Oh,
Going after that.
I'm gonna keep
You're
up.
going to go as far as you can?
I'm gonna keep up with the group.
As far as you can. Vanavar. If the weird blackness in the Hall of Mirrors was strange and unsettling, this is madness. The world falls away around you. You don't feel the floor beneath your feet. You're not even sure you really feel Lucita's hand. You feel no air, no sight, no sound. No pity, no love, no hope of love. Just the dark. And then, a moment later, you are back in the hallways and corridors again. Your lantern illuminating the underground.
This is quite a day, quite a night.
Welcome to France, monsieur.
The sounds are a little bit more distant, but the creatures are coming. Karsh, you've gone on ahead trying to find the sound of the digging. Yes?
Yes.
Eventually, after a few moments of running on all fours, your own claws making noise on the stones beneath your feet. You can hear it too, but you don't see the source. It is coming from behind a wall that has no doorway. Francois Villon and Suzanne join you rapidly.
So,
Vannevar and Lucita must go shadow to shadow to keep up.
for me to dive into the earth, can I do it through the stone, or do I need to clear the stone first?
You would need to clear away stonework. Although, here the stone is broken enough beneath your feet. Here in these old ruins and crypts, there's enough natural earth and gravel that you think that you could make it. This is not artificial.
I'll dive into the stone.
Karsh simply dissolves
Handy.
into the very earth itself. He is there one moment, and the next he is not. Where do you go?
I go to where the digging is coming from, and I come out near it. So I don't come out, I don't want to come out of the hole. I want to come out essentially
You want
where
to
I...
come out where you think you were
Yeah.
hearing it from,
Yes.
practically swimming through the earth. Hold that thought. Vannevar and Lucita, are you going to continue this mode of travel until you catch up to the rest? So, it takes 2 more steps to do so, and each time Vannevar is as awful as the last. You don't think this is something that you would ever get used to. Soon, however, after the second subsequent jump, you do catch up. Lucita and Vannevar emerge from blackness and shadow to stand with you.
You need to pull yourself together.
Thank you for the ride. The lift. The help. Thank you for the help.
You're welcome.
It is unsettling. No.
Karsh. For those of you on the non-Karsh side of the wall, you can hear muted sounds, but you cannot hear the words that follow. Karsh, you emerge in... Well, you're not sure what this is. It's a chamber. It's made out of smooth stone that has been worked by hand, but this place makes no sense.
Have I seen its like before?
This is not something that you are familiar with at all. It makes no sense because it doesn't seem to be the same whenever you look at it. That corner over there, you could have sworn was over here, and that corner is acute. But when you look back, it's obtuse. The geometry here isn't right. There are several chambers leading away from this room. The digging is coming from next door, where there is a light, flickering, a lantern.
When I come out of the ground, I return to my standard form, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
You simply rise up out of the earth, as though emerging from water.
I do go towards the source of the digging. Sort out, though.
There is a grotesque individual. Nosferatu, you think. His strange, bizarre, misshapen face betraying his clan. He wears what appears to be a monk's simple robe, like a cassock. And his lantern is on a pile of rubble next to him. He has a spade in hand, and he's shifting earth.
Name yourself and swear allegiance or die.
The individual spins around, raising the shovel to defend himself. Stops, and doesn't strike. The unwelcome guest should name himself first.
Is my sword in my hand or is it still on my back?
Which would you prefer?
Very fast to be in my hand.
You do have rapid reflexes, so the sword can be in your hand very quickly.
I'm here on the prince's business. I ask one more time or your head comes from your shoulders.
He makes a short bow, sets his spade blade down into the earth, but he doesn't relinquish his grip from it. Zelios.
Does that name mean anything to me?
It's not a name that you have heard before.
What is this place?
This is mine. I have made it.
Come with me. You're about to be of service to the ivory tower.
And I go back towards where I came from.
He doesn't move. Who are you?
I am Garsh, warlord of the Camarilla.
I am impressed. Your name I know. You are at war, warlord? You are ready for battle.
It is my way.
From the non-Karsh side of the wall, you can hear a muted conversation, and the digging has stopped, but you cannot hear the exact words.
It seems so. Are there any other passages leading from where we are, or is it a dead end?
Back the way you came, and of course you can go in many different directions. If you want to go either to the river or out to the Huntsman's Lodge, you can go them. But this is as far as this particular tunnel goes, as far as you know. But clearly, there is some extension.
I'd like to activate. Would Sense the Unseen help me in this situation of finding a secret passage?
Sense the Unseen will show you things that are supernaturally hidden from sight, but heightened senses might help you find a hidden doorway.
Okay. I'll heighten senses and look for any hidden doorways.
Okay. Is anyone else on this side of the wall doing anything? The sounds of pursuit have not yet caught up to you.
Suzanne, are you alright?
I'll be here for you. I'm
Vannevar,
strong for you.
Well, I appreciate, but I feel you must be here also for that one.
The American. Poor thing. He seems so terrified.
I'm doing a lot better now.
Francois, with heightened senses, you can hear the conversation on the other side of the wall. The name doesn't mean anything to you either, but clearly someone has made himself at home under your palace. The secret door isn't hard to find when your senses are as unnaturally sharp as yours. Do you open it?
I do.
Karsh, from your side of the wall, the Karsh side of the wall, you hear the sound of stone grating upon stone, and a section of the wall opens up. You see Francois standing in it.
My prince, this one is Zelios.
No, I heard. Everyone through, please. I'd like to get away from these dogs and men.
Be advised, this is a strange place.
It is strange. It's bizarre and unnatural and weird.
Understatement, Garth. Understatement. Well, it's better than where we were. Come, my dear.
Zelios addresses you.
I take you to be Zelios.
Prince, I am.
Don't be rude. I mean, I know, but don't be rude. What are you doing down here?
Digging.
Oh, yes, I see that. Why are you digging?
Prince Vion, forgive me. I did not present myself. I did not ask your hospitality.
No.
I did not respect your domain. But you must understand, this is not yours.
Is it not?
No.
Whose is it then?
I cannot tell you the name of the one who first laid the first stones here. But I have labored long to craft it.
Well, now it is his. And mine.
Honestly, I don't know if I want it.
What brings you? Why should you come here?
Well,
The peasants, they are revolting. And I don't mean like you. I mean, like they are taking up arms against us.
How distressing. So you seek shelter.
yes, that would be agreeable.
Enter.
Thank you.
Please to
Everyone?
close the door behind you.
Yes.
I can take you someplace safe.
Everybody, please, through the door.
The door?
And I look around for a minute, figure out how the door closes again, and then I close it.
Not difficult to figure out again when you have eyes. You can see what humans cannot.
Well, Zelios, we will put the matter of who owns this place on hold for the moment, as our lives are more, unlives are more important.
Perhaps when your Majesty sees the extent of it and its nature, he will not be so interested to claim.
Perhaps. Well, you said there was somewhere safe.
I will take you.
Thank you.
He sets down his spade.
I lean over to Vannevar and I say,
The advantage of the old world is wonders such as this. I doubt its like can be found in your America.
You are from America. You are from the New World.
I am.
I long to see it. I long to cross the great ocean and behold its night with my own eyes. I will come there one night to build, to shape.
Build what? But what is this other than an underground thing?
Well, believe
I
that's
will
for
show
him
you.
to answer.
Architecture is no simple thing. The very earth holds power. The very earth conveys power, and if one knows how and where to dig, to tunnel, to build an arch, to set a door, to delve a stair or a ramp, then this power can be studied and known. I will show you. He picks up his lantern and begins to lead you through one of the passageways to the dark.
I take my lantern up and I follow behind.
He invites you to step close to him.
Oof. Your face. Pardon.
I cannot help as I appear, any more than you can.
What happened to you?
I was embraced like you, but not like you. Can it be that you do not know the Nosferatu clan? Have you, Prince, banished us from your court?
Nothing so easy. She's new. She's young. She has not experienced your clan yet. Words do not do you justice.
Once I was as beautiful as you, in my own way. It's true. It is true. I was
Suzanne, very difficult.
I was a builder of cathedrals.
How long?
Long ago.
How long have you been like this?
Some centuries.
Oh.
Follow closely. Do not fall behind. And do not go where I do not go. If you wish to survive this.
Karsh's head is basically on a swivel because I'm simultaneously wary of him making a move, Lucita making a move, but trying to like get an idea of the defensibility of this place. Like, I mean, where are its vulnerabilities? Where would I attack? Where would I defend?
These are fair questions. Hold that thought for one moment. Speaking of Lucita, do you make a move, or are you going along with Zelios?
I am quite curious as to what this place is about. There is no move to be made yet.
You, in particular, will find this of great interest.
I see.
Great interest. There is something here that you will recognize. The rubble falls sometimes. It is not completely stable. So stick close. Come. You are brave. You stepped forward with your lantern. Walk with me in the dark. See the wonders for your own self. So, to answer your question, Karsh, for a place to be defensible, it must have a beginning and an end. It must have definition. It must have borders. It must not move. The places that you go through are difficult to describe with the words that are available in your vocabularies. It is a maze. It's a labyrinth, not unlike that in Greece of mythological age that housed the Minotaur, but far worse. Stairs go up that should go down. Curves bend backwards and then go in impossible directions. You fancy that sometimes you are walking horizontally when you know you're not. You step across crevasses in the ground that seem bottomless. It is a place of nightmares. And you know that this will haunt your day sleep for years to come. Once or twice you fancy that you see movement out of the corner of your eyes, but when you look, nothing is there. Zelios guides you slowly, carefully. It is difficult to know how much time passes exactly, but since you aren't asleep yet, you know it must still be night. He comes then to a wall that is black. It is pitch black. The light from your lantern, Suzanne, and from his lantern simply falls into it, into nothing.
Haven't seen that before.
No.
Another of your kind, perhaps.
Lucita, you know the abyss when you see it. This, whatever it is, this dark mirrored surface, is an object of pure oblivion.
How did you come in possession of such thing?
You may find it difficult to believe, but I found it. in the catacombs of Rome. And I have brought it with me many times as I go about building.
What manner of device is this?
It is a doorway, and it is the only way to reach safety. You must come through or return and face whatever you are fleeing.
I'll
I
take.
could leave you here, but that would not be kind
It would also be fatal.
to us both, I think.
My dear Kosh, killing him means we're stuck down here, and I don't want to be stuck down here.
As you say.
I would take the Blackness over Zumitsi flesh crafting.
My lord, please allow me to go through first then.
Oh, absolutely.
The Queen. Has she tasted of Vitae?
She has.
So there is dead blood in her veins?
Yes.
Then she can come through.
Good to know.
It will work for no others that are not dead or have not touched death as this.
I know it sounds a little less romantic than I made it sound when I did it, but congratulations, you've touched death.
It felt good.
You wish?
Sort out, but I do.
I will join you. You step through.
I do.
Does anyone else follow? Banavar?
This is a door.
Supposedly, yes.
Okay,
Would you like to go first?
let's go. And I walk very slowly to this blackness and I reach my hand out into it. Can I feel anything?
No, there is no resistance. It is frictionless. There is simply oblivion. And you watch your own arm disappear into the blackness as though it were being pulled into dark water with no sensation except cold.
I look out at the rest of them and smile.
I take your hand and go in with you.
You both step through together.
That was terribly romantic.
Is there anyone who declines to step through?
I'm gonna go in last.
You're sure it will be safe for me?
Sure? No. What he says? It'll be safe.
It's not the peasants. Come.
All right, let's go.
And
As
Lucita-
I step through the portal, I make eye contact with her and be like, "No funny business," and then I go through the floor.
Is there any funny business?
Depends. What's waiting for me here?
For each of the experience is slightly different, but there are plenty of similarities. It's worse for Marie. It's that same suffocating, choking blackness that you felt when Lucita surrounded you with that night-like shroud of blackness in the Hall of Mirrors. You find yourself gasping for air, and for all of you, it's a place of nothing. Your feet don't touch the ground. You can't feel walls. There is no light. Vanavar and Suzanne, you can feel each other's hands. And that's all you can feel. That's the only thing that exists for you. Likewise, for Marie and Francois. Lucita, this is the Shadow Place. This is exactly what you know, what you live with every night. Whatever this place is, whatever this thing is, was either created by your clan or with its help, for certain. It seems to take forever, but you eventually do emerge on the other side.
No more.
I can't promise anything right now.
I look back at where we came from.
It appears to be a mirror. A normal mirror. You touch it?
Mm-hmm.
Glass.
My prince, if someone could master this, it would be a weapon of unimaginable power. You could build a fortress that would never fall. This could make someone prince for thousands of years.
Zelios looks a little alarmed at this suggestion.
I'm going to take a guess that there's not enough of this stuff to make a fortress.
But all of this, the way the walls move, the stairs, if this could be harnessed,
Yes.
would be unstoppable.
No, you wouldn't be in the business of making fortresses, would you?
I build as I feel inspired and compelled to build. The pattern that I follow, I see in my mind. It exists for me as though I am merely the discoverer of that which already exists. But this can be done only in certain places in the world.
Why?
Power? I will show you. I will show you.
Where are we now?
We are far, far away from Versailles.
Where?
We are under Paris, many miles from your palace. We are under Paris.
You've brought us to Paris.
Paris is burned.
No, not at all. The Bastille, of course, has fallen, but order of a sort will be restored by dawn. Your city is not on fire. For now. You will have some problems, I think.
Sure, we will. Now, you said there was somewhere safe.
I will take you, but first I will show you what I mean.
Yes. This is power.
I will show you why this is not as you think. So, he leads you down a few more tunnels, twists, turns, stairways that go sideways, cracks in the floor that actually go up, angles that flip when you look at them twice. This is a terrible place. Finally, he takes you to a large stone antechamber with a vaulted ceiling, not unlike the support under a church or a cathedral. The ceiling is vaulted, is lined with stone. Can't you see? You who are so brave to walk with such beauty. Look with your eyes.
Okay.
Look with your eyes, Miss Rochelle. With your special eyes.
I also heighten senses and look.
Karsh does also.
I use my supernatural eyesight,
Unseen senses, yeah.
unseen senses.
So, sense the unseen. A web, an intricate web, red lines, a tracery, not unlike the veins that scientists claim lace the body. Red, bright, some dimmer than others, all converging in this chamber, all in this place. Do you see?
Yes.
What is it?
Interesting.
These are lines
What?
of power in the earth. And here these are, there are many different words for them. The convenient phrase is the ley line.
Ley lines.
Yeah. There are places of power in the world. And the lines that connect them occur naturally. And in certain places they meet, and this is such a place. Versailles and Paris are places of power. Why do you think the royals build there?
This occurs naturally.
If you know where to look. But, allow me. He reaches his disgusting clawed hand, invites you to take it with yours.
I take his hand.
Brave girl.
It's scabrous and leathery, and you think maybe it's flaking off a little bit of the skin. It's not pleasant at all. But he guides your wrist upward so that your fingers can touch one of the red lines. It's not unpleasant, but it is strange. The world falls away, blinks out of existence, and what you see is Versailles, the very palace that you just came from. Order has been restored. The guards have prevailed. The unnatural things that roamed the halls consigned to the bonfires, and the peasants, those who have lived at least, rounded up and put in irons. It is safe for the moment.
This is real time.
This is now. Here. He reaches out for your wrist again and moves your fingers to another line. Still using unseen sight, you can perceive the Bastille. And this sends a shock through your hand. Doesn't damage you, but it does hurt. And you see fire burning in the night, smoke roiling black into the heavens, people scurrying to and fro, shouting. The prison is
Burns.
destroyed. So, this is not safe. Very difficult to use. It is one thing to see with this. It is another to do. And to do could destroy the doer as well as the place.
What do you mean by to do?
Your French is not my... A kindred of sufficient power could use this to make things happen at these places.
How?
It is not within my ability to do it, but I have seen it done. I have seen an entire palace crumble as if struck by the gods, consumed by the earthquake. I have seen a forest flood. I have seen fire burn at the touch of the powerful, but, as I said, great harm to the doer is also very possible.
Who have you seen do this?
I think you would laugh if I were to tell you.
Try me.
There are powerful members of the fiendish clan who possess affinity with spirits of the earth. The Khaldun, they are called.
Koloon.
The Khaldun of the fiends. I have seen one such do this. I have seen your precious Sasha Vikosh make a thing happen. Far, far from here. I have seen Vencel Ricard, the Prince of Prague, do a thing. But they all possess magic of a sort, either natural or stolen from them.
My lord, such a weapon cannot be in the hands of the enemies of the Ivory Tower.
I would agree with you, but I don't believe our friend here has aspirations either way.
It is not my desire to wield this. I merely seek them out and build these protections.
Protections for the ley lines.
Can you imagine coming through what you have come through without a guide or without knowledge?
A guide.
Only a fool or a madman would try such a thing.
Precisely. So, this is my work. I long to cross the sea, Mr. Vannevar Thomas. I long to come to your America to see the places of power that have not yet been discovered, and those that are ancient, known by peoples long ago.
If the invitation is mine to extend, I would.
You hold power there?
I
I would ask, actually, do you?
You do.
yes, I do. I hold a considerable amount of power, and it would be advantageous to yourself as well as our kind in total if you should visit us. Come, please, and make yourself new.
He has power.
Well, I accept your kind invitation. I will come. I will find out where these places are, and I will build. I caution you. I see it in your eyes, Warlord. Do not attempt to make use of it. Without the proper preparation, without the proper ability, you will not endure, even you who are the mountain itself. And you, I see, daughter of shadow, I see you think, well, if the mirror is here, then this place is perhaps for me. It is not for you.
Then I need to know who had built this thing.
If I could tell you who originally delved the earth here, I would be wise. I do not know.
All my life, I've thought that I had real power. I thought my mother did, my father did, even my stupid husband did. But this is true power. Francois, we could use this.
Could we?
Yes,
Could we use a thing we don't understand?
but we will learn. I learned to use the powers that I had, and now this we will also learn.
You learned to use the powers that I gave you.
She is yours.
Yes.
I'm his.
But I don't understand this.
Ask your court sorcerers, perhaps.
Perhaps.
They will not find their way here.
No, I don't assume they will.
Soon my work here will be done, and I will go.
Well, this has been interesting. It
I
will
must-
take time. Time you don't have right now. But we'll have in the future.
Is there some place you wish especially to see, brave Suzanne?
The location of the one who has attacked our prince. Show her this thing.
If I'm to guess, this shows locations, not people.
Your prince is correct.
This works like a spider's web, in that you touch a strand, and you know where the thing connected to that strand is.
It is something like this. Where is home for you?
Home.
You must have had one.
Alsace.
Reach high. This one. It's so strange to see the place where you were born. Merely by touching something that maybe doesn't even exist, but that you can see as plain as day when you look with the right kind of eyes. You can see the little church under the night sky. See the stockyard, the corral, the fields, the beautiful hills, over which a sun rises that you have not seen since the night you became what you are. I will take you to a place near Notre Dame. It is fortified. I believe you will find your kind there. Our kind.
That would be most agreeable.
The tower, I mean. The Camarilla. I have great respect for the achievement of the tower. I value stability. It is easier to do my work this way.
I take his hand.
He seems very surprised that you do.
I look him in the eye. Thank you
For what?
for showing this to me.
You think it is a gift?
I do.
When you remember this night, many years or decades or centuries from now, ask yourself again if I have really truly given you anything. He does take you from this place, and through complex ways that you're not sure you could find for yourself again if you had to. He brings you near Notre Dame on the Ile-de-France. And there, of course, you know exactly how to make contact with Camarilla kindred, loyal to the prince of the city, who can give you somewhat accurate information about the events of this night. And this, Suzanne, is where you wake. And the faces that you recall fade into the past again. Three nights have passed since you fell into the Memorium. 3 nights during which you knew nothing, but in which you lived again the past you didn't even know that you missed. And as you begin to recover yourself and prepare to share what you've learned and what you've remembered, elsewhere in Los Angeles, the hunt is most definitely on.
Jesus fucking Christ. What did I fucking tell you? You never looked them in the eyes. What is this, amateur hour? And it was one blank.
Fuck you, Demetrios. We're in the middle of a crisis here. Spare me the lecture.
Oh, far be it from me to suggest you're in way over your heads. What is this, the third room of dead agents we've had in just as many weeks?
And you could have done it better?
You listen to me. I've been on these streets for months, dealing with blanks every fucking night. I'm just saying, I wouldn't have made every rookie mistake in the book, then let one of my own agents take out the rest, leave with the blank, while I pissed myself on camera.
Well, it's a shame she took that out too. No record of how any of this went down.
It looks like it's working to me.
No record of how any of this went down.
Okay, hang on. Who did she leave with? Who did she take?
She left with Stillwater.
Does Stillwater know that I gave her up? Does he know that I gave you the intel?
Yeah. Yeah, you read the file.
Do you know what that means? I'm burned. I'm fucked. She can get that out of him. What are you gonna do about that?
Okay. I'm calling in a heavy hitter from headquarters.
What, Washington?
No. Heavier than that.
Jesus.
Greg, I will fix this.
Yeah, I'm sure you will.